Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner coming to you for the DeKalb County Library. And in one of my classes, my live classes, we did a chain that consisted of spirals. And you all know of my love of spirals. And what we did was make the spirals and dangle um, handmade charms from them. And somebody in the class, thank you, Louisa, said, "Oh, I like this even without the charms." And had it on. She hadn't put her charms on yet, and it looked wonderful. And it gave me an idea for a necklace. I thought, what if we did the spiral links and just added metal beads to them, just to have a chain that has metal on it. There's no colorful crystals or stone or anything like that, just metal. I thought that would be just a nice departure. Every once in a while, I want to pull out just some metal work and do that. And I thought that that's what we could do it with this, a little bit of hard and soft. The spirals would be the kind of softer side, and then the metal beads that they're coming from two places. I got the metal beads from both Greece and Turkey. So it'll be a nice little combination of more feminine and a little bit more masculine, kind of unisex. So I thought we would do that today. It's very minimal in regard to materials. We're using 18 gauge wire today because we're using heavy metal beads, something a little heavier. So I wanted it to have a little extra weight and a little extra strength. And it is a little heavy, but a little heavier than we normally use. So you're going to have to channel a little bit more strength to work this. But on the upside of that, it will hold beautifully. So what you're going to need is some 18 gauge wire, um, some jump rings, and some metal beads. That's it. And if you don't want to use metal beads, you don't have to. You can use any beads that you want. But for this project today, I'll be using an assortment of metal beads. That's all you're going to need in addition to your tools, your round nose. Please get over there. Your round nose pliers. The barrels are round all the way around. They start larger at the bottom and they taper up to almost a point at the tip. Our square nose pliers that are slightly rounded on the outside and flat on the inside. Anybody who gets confused about that, and it happens quite a bit because this is slightly rounded. It's slightly rounded, but on the inside, it's completely flat. And when you buy these in the store, make sure that you get the ones that don't have the grips on the inside. If you're ordering them online, make sure to zoom in on that page because they usually give you several different views and you'll be able to see whether it's got ridges on the inside. That's used to for people to be able to clamp their wire more tightly, but because we use soft wire, that can damage it. So you don't want that kind of plier. The third one is going to be a pair of cutters, a pair of wire cutters. You can see that mine are kind of getting all chewed up because I use them a lot. So there's a lot of little nicks in there, the little nicks in my little cutters, but they still work beautifully, so I'm using them. The fourth thing that you need is a ruler to measure out your wire, and that is it. So again, the supplies we need are the beads of your choice. I'm using 18 gauge wire and jump rings. That's it. That's it. That's it. So let's go ahead and get down here um, to the mat and get started. Okay, so I'm doing this in the evening, so there's a bit of shadow. I hope it's not enough to obscure your view, but I'm hoping that this will still be okay. Now, the first thing that I've done is cut a piece of 5-inch wire of my 18 gauge. I'm using, I decided to make something that was two different colors just because I thought it would be fun. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, if you look at my wire, you'll see it's got a little bit of texture on it because I'm reusing a piece of wire. And I started not to do that, but I went ahead and made one of the spirals and it came out so neat with the texture. So if you want to do that, you can kind of bend your wire up a little bit, kind of crank it up a little bit, then straighten it back out, and it'll still have a little bit of texture, and it'll give your spirals a little more character. And this is a really um, organic piece, so it doesn't have to be perfectly straight or anything like that. I want it to look handmade. I want it to look like a handmade chain, not a prefab one. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take my 5 inches of wire. I'm going to grab my round nose pliers. I'm going to slide the wire in between my pliers, almost in the very back of my pliers, to make my loop, because I'm going to make a nice big spiral on each side, and I want to be able to have enough space in between the spirals to link my jump ring. So I'm almost to the back here. I'm making sure that the wire's not sticking out the other side of my pliers, and I'm going to start turning. I'm just going to do small turns until I have a loop. I want my tip to touch the rest of my wire, like so. And then once I've gotten there, I'm going to keep spiraling the wire around itself. Now, I can't go much further than this because my pliers will get in the way. So I'm going to grab my square pliers. I want to make sure that my wires are wrapping around, the wires wrapping around the outside of the first ring and not on top of the first ring. So this is the outside. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep spiraling, and I'm going to keep turning until I get to the tip. So once the wire on the outside is meeting that tip, I'm going to stop. And I'm going to go to the other side. So again, I'm going to grab my round pliers. I'm going to slide my wire between the pliers almost to the very back. And I'm going to make this spiral going in the opposite direction of the first one. So this one's going this way towards me in this case. I'm going to roll this one away from me. So again, check to make sure that my wire's not sticking out the front side of my pliers here. And I'm going to turn until the tip touches the rest of the wire. There we go. And then I'm going to go a little bit further, just kind of wrap it around itself. Now this is kind of up above the wire, so I'm going to push it down so that the wire is actually wrapping around itself, like so. So I've got a 1 and a partial loops going there. Then I'm going to grab my square pliers, make sure to push that little tip down so that it's beside the other wire and that they're not climbing on top of each other. And then I'm going to go ahead and keep spiraling until that tip is on the other side of the wire. When the wire that I'm turning meets the tip, now I have the same size on both sides. I'm going to keep turning. I'm going to give it a couple more turns on this side. Then I'm going to switch to the other side because my aim is to make spirals that are the same size on both sides. I'm going to give it one more little turn. Let's go to the other side. Give it a couple of turns. And let's see where I am. Let's give it another turn here. And now my tip is over here, and the last of my wrap is on this side, so it's across from each other. Let's do the same thing on this one. Yeah, there's my tip, and there's my wrapping wire. Give it another slight little turn here, and another one on the other side, and just get them as close together as I can. So there is my nice little double spiral. Cute. And with the texture on it, it looks really neat. I love it. Okay, let's do another one. Another one of my pieces of wire that is all textured up. Oh, and look at that. You can see such a shine in the light. All right, let's grab my round nose pliers again, slide my wire down almost to the back of my pliers. Check to make sure that the tip is not sticking out. And let's start turning. And just turn that until the tip touches the rest of the wire. And then nice and easy, I'm going to continue to turn, let the wire wrap around itself a little bit. Nice. And I'm going to switch to my square pliers and keep turning. Now I know from the last one that I can probably go around 2.5 times. So now there's my tip. There's my wire that I'm wrapping. I'm going to give it another turn or two, and then I'm going to switch to the other side. So what I've got here is 1 and 2 and about a quarter turns. Okay, or loops. So let's go to the other side. And again, I'm going to wrap my loop in the opposite direction of the one that I just did. My wire's almost to the back of the pliers. And I'm going to loop it until the tip touches the rest of the wire. Switch to my square pliers and keep going. And just give myself a nice little spiral. Okay, so I'm at 1, 2. I'm going to keep going like I did with the other one until I have another quarter or so. Okay, so let's give it another couple of turns on this side. And then switch over to the other side. Give it a turn or two. Let's see where I am. So this is right across from where I've ended. And this one is right, whoop, not quite, a little bit more. Right across from where this one's ending. Let's give it another turn. Give this one another turn. And then I'm just going to rock that back until they're both as close together as I can get. And there are my 2 little spirals to start. All right. And here's a couple more. You know I have to have some made. So let's put those to the side and let's grab some of our metal. Look at these. Aren't they neat? And let's wrap it. Okay, so for the spirals that I did, I used gold. So for the wrapping, making the metal links, I'm using silver. Why? Why not? That's my answer. Okay, so what I need for this is 1 inch of wire on each side of my beads. And as you can see, these little metal beads are not the same size. So what you're going to need to do is measure your, get your 2 inches, and then measure your bead and add whatever that is. This is about 1/2 inch. So I need 2.5 inches. And I would suggest, just for safety's sake, that you give yourself another 1/4 to 1/2 inch. So I'm going to give myself 3 inches. I know it's going to be too much. I'm going to give myself another 1/4 because I hate waste. So I'm going to give myself 2 3/4 inches for this one. Cut that off. Grab my round nose pliers, and I'm going to make just a double loop. Or it's 1.5 times around, 2 times around. I want something that kind of looks like my spirals on each end. So I'm going a little bit smaller. I'm going to go to the middle of my pliers, or maybe a third of the way down my pliers. And I keep saying this in class, all pliers are not created equal. So what might be one size on one will be smaller on the other. See how much smaller the girth of these pliers are compared to the ones that I'm using. So it's really all relative. There's really no way for me to tell you exactly what size you're going to get because it depends on your pliers. I'm going about a third of the way down my pliers for my loop that I'm making. So again, I'm going to check and make sure that my wire's not sticking out the front or the back of your, I'm calling this the back and this is the front of my pliers. I'm going to go ahead and start making a loop. Now for this one, I want to make a small coil. So I'm going to continue my wrap, but I'm going to make sure that the wire is behind the wire that I started wrapping with. So there, I've got about 1.5 coils. You can see that. I'm going to put my bead on. And as you can see, it's kind of over to the side. So I'm going to bend the wire just a slight amount, just so that it's sitting sort of in the center of my bead. Then I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to make a loop on that side. Now this one is going in that direction. I'm going to flip it over so that this one will be going in the other direction. This one's going this way. This one will be going that way. That gives the appearance of a broken spiral, one half on one side and one on the other side. So again, I'm going through a third of the way down my pliers. Check to make sure that your wire is not sticking out the other side. Start my little spiral. And I want the front, the first one, to go in front of the other one. So I'm making a little coil. So I'm going to go 1.5 times around like I did with the other one, and then continue until I have 2. And this is why I said I don't know, I can't tell you the amount because I've started my coil and look, I've gotten 2 times around and I still have a lot of wire left. It was just like with the spirals. You can't tell exactly how much you're going to have until you've done it a few times. So I'm going a little bit past my tip here with my wire. I'm going to switch to the other side. And I'm going to continue to wrap a little bit past my little tip, just like that. And that's my little spiral. So it's kind of a little coiled spiral. And I do want this to sit more in the center. So I'm going to flip that back a little bit until it's sitting in the center. And the holes to these beads are so large that it's going to rattle around. It can't help but rattle around because your little 18 gauge wire is not nearly as big as the holes in your bead. And that's fine. It'll have a little movement. And so there's my one bead wrapped. So now we need to do the other one. We need to do the same thing. I need 2 inches. I know I need 1 inch on each side to accommodate my wrap. Let's get this unfurled here. And then I need enough for my bead. Now this bead looks like it's about maybe 3/8 of an inch, whereas the other one, this one, was 1/2 inch. And that's why I said you have to measure each one. So you always want your 2 inches for your wraps on each side, 1 inch for each side, so 2 inches. And then I need another 3/8. I'm just going to stick with my 2 3/4. It's only an eighth difference, so that'll work just fine. Okay, let's grab those round pliers, go about a third of the way down my pliers. Again, this is my pliers. Yours, you might want to go larger with the little hole or smaller, not too much smaller, because as you can see, this is a very large hole. So you want to make sure that your spiral is big enough to keep it from falling down in the hole of the bead. Okay, I'm going to wrap until I'm at the tip because I know I can use at least that much up. So here's the end. This is where I stopped wrapping, and there's my little tip. Let's put my bead on, languishing on the side there. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a bend so I can rest it right in the middle of my bead. Then I'm going to turn it around because my um, loop is wrapping away from me. So I'm going to turn it towards me and wrap this one away from me. So I have them going on opposite sides. And yes, I bent that back a little bit. You don't have to. It's just a habit of mine. Okay. Slide my wire down about a third of the way down my pliers. And make sure the tip's not sticking out. Make sure it's going in the right direction. And let's start wrapping. The tip should go in front of the rest of the wire. And wrap until I have 2 wraps around. Here's my tip, there's the middle, and there's the end. So I'm going to keep going until I'm about a third of the way around the little loop. And I'm going to switch to the other side and give it a couple of turns until it's a third of the way around on this side. And there we have it. I'm going to give it a slight little bit more. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. See how one of these is going up and down, and the other one is going side to side. That's an easy fix. This one's going that way. This one's going up this way. I'm going to give it a twist with my fingers until they're both laying flat. But you can see I still have my little spiral. It's a kind of a coiled spiral, so that goes with that. Okay, so now I guess you're going, well, now what do I do? What do I do with these pieces? I don't know. What am I supposed to do with that? Okay, so I had a little pattern. You do not have to follow my pattern, but this is what I did. I grabbed a couple of jump rings and I'm going to link my bead. Oh, let me show you how to open these. The proper way to open a jump ring. So here I've got a nice closed jump ring. Now, when you get your jump rings, sometimes the little tips aren't meeting, which they need to be. Get up there, see if you can see this. These tips should be snug together, not overlapping. If they're not, let me see, do I have one that isn't? Yeah, let me grab one out of the bag here. Usually when you get them, these are done like by machine, so they're just not necessarily meeting up. So this one is very clearly not meaningless. Good picture. There we go. They are overlapping, and I want the tips to meet. So how do I fix that? I'm going to grab my pliers, one on each side. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to kind of pull it apart a little bit until I get them to meet. And I just wiggled it back and forth until they are now meeting. Yes. Nice. Now, the proper way to open a jump ring is just what I just did. Just take my pliers. I usually take my square pliers. I like them to be on the outside facing in, and then my round pliers facing up and down. And twist it open. That's it. Very, very easy, very simple. My alarm's about to go off and I don't want it to. So I'm going to fix that right now while you're sitting here looking at me. Give myself a few more minutes before it starts yelling. All right, so now that my jump ring is open, I'm going to slide the ring of my bead loop. I'm going to slide my bead loop inside, and then I'm going to slide one of my spirals, one side of one of my spirals in the other side, or in the loop as well. So I've got both of those in there, and I'm going to close it the same way I opened it, just twisting in the opposite direction and make sure my little tips are meeting. Nice. And I'm going to double it up because I just want to double it because again, these little metal beads are a little bit heavy and I want to make sure that my jump ring doesn't find its way open. So I've got another open jump ring. I'm going to slide the loop to the bead in the jump ring, and then I'm going to slide the loop to the spiral in the jump ring and twist it closed. I showed you how to do it with the pliers. Now I'm going to just do it with my fingers. Just twist. Nice. And another reason I like the double jump ring is because it echoes the pattern of my double loop for my bead and my spiral. So everything looks like it goes together. Yay. So now what I did was link one of my beads and two of my spirals to make my chain. So I'm going to grab another open jump ring. Push those to the side for now. And I'm going to grab two closed jump rings and put them inside the open one. Actually, I'm going to grab four of them, put them inside the open one. So one open jump ring with four closed jump rings inside of it. I'm going to close that up. Make sure the tips are meeting. Yes. Then I'm going to grab another open jump ring. And slide all four of those closed jump rings inside of it and close. Now notice I kept this jump ring separate, right? Now I'm going to separate all of these, 2 by 2 by 2. So I have a mini chain. Now that I've got that on there, I'm going to open one of the jump rings on one end. Find the little opening, twist it open, and I'm going to slide one of my spirals inside the jump ring, the side that's not already attached to my bead. I'm sliding that in the jump ring and I'm going to close it up. And again, you can use both pliers if you want to. Just close that up until both my little tips are meeting. And then I'm going to grab another open jump ring and slide that inside the second set of jump rings. Wait a minute. Oh, no, I already have one on there. Sorry. I'm going to grab my second jump ring. That was on the side. And I'm going to find the opening, open it up, and slide the little spiral inside of that one. I'm going to do that again because I hope I didn't confuse you. And let's close that up either with your pliers or with your fingers. And now I have a miniature chain. And I'm going to use that to connect another one of my little spirals. So I'm going to open one of the, oh, there's another way you can do that. You can open one at a time and put the spirals in, or you can open them both and put the spiral in at the same time. Takes a little more concentration, but it definitely can be done. So find both of your openings and put them on the same side. There we go. Open one, open the other, slide my spiral over both of them. Let's see, are they both in there? Yes. Now, the one thing you want to make sure is that they're side by side and not crossing over. So I'm going to close the one first, make sure it's closed, and then close the second one. Just put that one to the side so it's not in my way. Close the second one up. And then check my little tips. Make sure they're flush together. And there we have one of my chains. Nice. Can you see that? Yes. There's one of my chains all ready to go. Let's put that to the side and do it again. So I'm going to grab some jump rings. I'm going to grab a couple of open ones to start. And I'm going to put 4 closed jump rings inside the open one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. And I'm going to close that up. Then I'm going to grab another open jump ring and slide the 4 that are inside this one jump ring. I'm going to slide those 4 into that jump ring and close it up. Then I'm going to separate all of them 2 by 2 by 2. There we go. Let's lay it down so that you can see it a little bit better, or I'll hold it up with my pliers. There we go. So 2 by 2 by 2. Yes. So now we are going to attach. I attached the last one. I attached the bead first. This time I'm going to go ahead and attach my spirals. Let's attach my little spiral. Now, when you open these up, don't be stingy with your opening. Make sure it's open enough that you don't have to struggle to get it over all of these rings. Okay, close that up. Make sure that my little tips are together. Then grab the other one, and you'll know which one it is because these two are attached to the one that's attached to the spiral. There's three down here that are free, and I want one of those to come up and attach to my little spiral. Open that up and feed that into my spiral. Again, I'm being stingy with my opening. I need to open it wider. Okay. Make sure that the other one is out of the way before you close this because you don't want them locked together. Okay, close that up. There's my little chain. Let's go to the other side and put the other one on. Again, you can do the double thing. You can open them both up and put it on, or you can do it one at a time, whichever is easiest for you. As long as they get on there, that's fine. And I always twist them open in the same direction. You try to twist one way and one the other way. It gets very, very confusing. So let's slide my little spiral on. Both of them. Get in there. You're trying to cross over, and I don't want that. Come on. Get in there. I should have done this one at a time so I could show you. You know what? I think I will. Let's do them one at a time. So I'm going to close one of these back up because they're fighting me. And let's do it one at a time. Slide one inside and close. Make sure that the tips are meeting. And then find the other one. In this case, I'm just going to dangle it until it's hanging down right beside the other one. Find the opening. I'm getting there. Find the opening. Open up the loop. Slide my little spiral inside and close, making sure that the other one is out of the way so it doesn't get tangled up in this jump ring. And there we go. Let's add my bead. Grab a jump ring. Nicely opened already. Slide it in the spiral. Add my bead. And close. So make sure my tips are meeting properly. Grab another jump ring. And slide it in my spiral. Or I guess I should say slide the spiral inside the jump ring. Okay. Wrong. Wrong one. That one's already attached. I want to slide it in the other side. This one already has the two. So I want to slide this one in the other side. and inside the bead loop. Make sure that this one's out of the way. Don't want it caught up in this jump ring. Close it up. And there we go. Nice. So now what are we going to do? Well, we're going to attach it to the rest. So what do we need? We need more jump rings, of course. So let's see. See how I got it? Silver and gold. It's not all silver. It's not all gold. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. So what I'm going to do, let's put this gold one over here. Just because, why not? I've got silver wire, gold bead. Let's play around with it a little bit. Okay, so find my little opening and my jump ring. Let's open a couple of these up so I don't have to keep doing that. So I'm just going to twist it open. Let's get a couple of them going here. And that should do it. Let's grab one of my rings. In this case, my bead ring. Slide my jump ring, slide it inside my jump ring, and then slide my spiral that's attached to the rest of my chain. Slide that inside my jump ring. Oh, really? You had to do it, didn't you? Slide that inside my jump ring and close. And again, you can use your fingers like I'm doing because I don't feel like picking up another plier, or you can use your pliers. Either one works. As long as you get them closed properly, you're good. Grab another jump ring and slide it inside my bead loop and then go back through my spiral. There. And what you always want to make sure of, number one, not to have your jump rings crossed in it, twisted in within each other. But you want to make sure that your jump rings are going the same direction. You don't want one crossed over one way and one crossed over the other way. So just take a minute to look and make sure that your jump rings are going the way you want them to do and that they're not all twisted up. Let's go to the other side and attach this one. I think I opened more jump rings than I needed. That's okay. I think I'm going to use it later when we make our clasp, which we are going to do. Okay, let's slide my spiral into one of the jump ring, and then slide my bead loop into the jump ring and close it. Close it up. Nice. Go ahead and grab another jump ring. Slide it inside my little spiral and then back through my bead loop and close. Everything's nice and even. And would you look at this gorgeous game? Isn't that beautiful? I love mixed metals. I love them. Love, love, love. And thank you, Louisa, for giving me this idea because this is fabulous. I love it. You can wear this with anything. It's really long too. I think I could pop this over my head, but just in case you can't, I'm going to show you how to make a simple clasp that's going to echo the design of the necklace. Oh, I love this. Ooh, anyway, so let's go ahead and grab another piece of wire. For this, I'm going to get about, let's see, I'm going to give myself, and it's nice and nicely textured. I'm going to give myself about much 6 inches because I want to do a spiral. Well, this was 5 inches. Okay, let's give myself 5 inches. I don't think I need any more than I needed for the rest of the spiral. So 5 inches. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to repeat what I did for my spirals. I'm going to take my wire, slide it back almost to the back of my pliers. Now, I am very cautious about not going all the way to the back of your pliers because if you slip up and aren't paying attention, this squared off part will catch your wire and you end up with a square loop, which, I mean, if that's what you want, that's great. But if it's not what you were aiming for, you're better off being very careful and watching that back so that it doesn't catch your wire. So again, I'm going to check, make sure the wire is not sticking out the front there. And I'm going to make a loop, small turns. I see people going, and then they end up with a mangled loop. It's, you're not in a rush. There's no reason for you to do that. Okay, so I'm going to keep turning a little bit past my beginning loop or the tip of my loop. And then I'm going to keep turning like I did with the other one. Ooh, it's got a little bit misshapen. Let's fix that. But again, very organic, not going to be the vision of perfection. And I don't want it to be. If you want it to be, hey, be careful. But I don't want it to be. Okay. I think that's big enough. It's kind of echoing what I've already got. I can make it a little bigger because I have enough wire. I cut 5, probably only needed 4. That's okay. So there's my little spiral. So what I need to do now is make a hook. So I'm going to grab my pliers. I'm going to go to the back of my pliers, right there above where my spiral ends, right there above it. And I'm going to bring my wire over the top of my pliers and down and around, touch my little spiral. See where I'm going with this, huh? So now I just need to cut it off and make a little loop on the other side. So I'm going to cut it right here, just below the curve of my spiral. So maybe right in the middle of the curve of my spiral. Cut that off. Grab my round pliers. Slide it in just past the tip of my pliers. And I'm going to make a small loop. And just roll that back until the little tip touches the rest of the wire. And shape that so I have, it looks like a little swan, doesn't it? And there's my little loop. And there's my little link, my little hook, and it goes right along with the rest of this, isn't it? So let's go ahead and grab another jump ring. And you can look at this and decide which way you want your loops to go. I didn't really care. You can have this one going this way, let's see, this way, and then this one going this way and that way. So you can vary it any way that you want. If you want them to go opposite ways, this one's going that way, that one's going the other way, you can do that. You can have them all the same way. You can make them going different directions. It doesn't have to have any kind of specific pattern. It's entirely up to you. So what should I do? Should I have this going the same way or should I turn it that way? It doesn't matter. Both of them are pretty. So let's go ahead and get my little jump ring, slide it inside my spiral. And then slide the other spiral in there. I didn't give myself enough space, did I? Yes, I did. You have to give yourself enough space to get through all of those little loops so that they're nice and comfortable inside your jump ring. And then close it up. There we go. And there we go. And look at that. Our little hook looks like the rest of our necklace. Isn't that neat? So this, you can really turn it around anywhere. You can wear that on the side. You can wear it in the front. It doesn't matter. It just depends on how you want it to look. So let's put it on a form and see what it looks like. Yay. What if I can? Oh, goodness. I keep forgetting. They keep changing how this works on Zoom, and then I have to find the pause button. Hold on. Okay, I decided to put it on because I just couldn't resist. Now, and before you say, wait, I thought you said that was really long. It is. Boop, 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 boop. It's very, very long. I love it. I had to pull it back so that you can see. Oh, isn't it gorgeous? I've got my little swan on the side there instead of in the back because it's too pretty to hide. I can turn this any way I want and wear it any way I want. And honestly, I can, instead of, because I've got this all hanging down in the back so I could show you, but honestly, I could hook this anywhere on here I want. And then that way I don't have to do that. But I can't see. It's backwards in there. So it's freaking me out a little bit. Backwards in the camera. Come on. This is just as bad as me trying to get my bracelets on. Let's see if I can get in there. So I can, it's still really long. My goodness. I can wear it like that. Can you see that? My gosh, it's so long. I can wear it, part of it hanging down like that. I love this. Anyway, you don't need to see me go crazy. I'm going to go ahead and put it on a form. Look at that. It is so long. Anyway, you can definitely wear it a number of ways. This is one of them. Gosh, and it's still hanging down the back. I didn't realize I was making it this long, but this is going to be a fun one because I know there are some people who just want they want a chain that's a lot longer. Isn't that beautiful? But you can do this. You can bring this around the back. You can have it up higher, so it's not as long, or you can wear it long. Oh, so pretty. Look at all of this hanging down the back. Oh my goodness. Or you can just wear it nice and long. And we're not done. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I love this little swan. It's so pretty. This one on the back. Anyway, that is our piece for the day. I am going to really enjoy wearing this. I know it. I didn't realize it was going to be so long, but again, the pattern that I used was two spirals, one bead. Two spirals and one bead. You don't have to do that. You can do three spirals and two beads, three spirals and two beads. Whatever way you choose to put it together, it's entirely up to you. But I wanted to show you how to make the links themselves, and then you can use your own design. I love it. So I hope that you will make one of these, and I hope that you will enjoy wearing it as much as I'm going to enjoy wearing mine. And the other thing is, you can, because of the way this is made, you can add a charm on it. You can add several charms on it. You can add a pendant to it. It's entirely your piece, and you can, oh, I had it backwards. And you can do whatever you want with it because it's a chain. So you can wear it any way you would like. Anyway, that's it, everybody. That's my piece for the day. That's our piece for today. Well, this one's mine. And I hope that you'll make one, and I hope that you enjoy it like I'm going to enjoy wearing this and already do. So until next time, before you go, check the information in the description. If you'd like to leave me a message or send me a message, you can send it to my email, which is jewelrygen20@gmail.com. All of that information is down there. They keep telling me not to do that because they have the closed captions and it's just too much information. So I'm directing you to the description that has the Facebook URL that you can use, the Facebook address that you can send comments and pictures to. Please send me pictures. I love to see them. The YouTube address, you're already here, so you know how to get there and you can leave comments for us there. Love to hear from you and love to know where you're coming from. What state are you in? What country are you in? Those make my day. And of course, the email address, which is also there. And you can also leave me comments, pictures, suggestions of things that you would like to see. Those have been coming through, and I'm just loving it. I love hearing from you, and I want to hear more from you. So until next time, enjoy the rest of your week wherever you are in it. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you later. Bye bye. If I can find the end button. Bye bye.